क्या बात है?
Now you're good.
नहीं. Bismillah. No. If I can, it's too loud. Too loud. Okay. If I can ask and request the brothers to come forward so we can fill up all the front rows first and then later. I think it needs to be adjusted. Yes. Bismillah. Is Brother Salim here? Yes, Salim Gori. Eddie, can you check on Dr. Stein? She is somewhere outside, if you can just bring her from, because I went, I couldn't recognize who it was. Yes. Somebody. All right. Because she's in the facility, she's been there, but do you know where she is? Can you call her? Can somebody call her? I have no idea. She is in the masjid somewhere. Yeah, they're calling her, it's okay. Thank you for your patience. Just give us a few moments, inshallah ta'ala. We're putting some more chairs. In this kind of events, you never know how many to expect. I'm happy, the more the merrier, inshallah. Amit, इसको set कर देंगे जो वापस इसे set नहीं हो रहा आपने सही किया था ये तो बना नाक पे चल okay 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 Bismillah. Were you able to locate? Yes, Brother Ahmed. All right. All right, can you bring her? Okay, good news, alhamdulillah. Somebody located her, so. We're just going to wait another minute. She's just walking in, and then we'll start, inshallah ta'ala. Okay. I know most of the people are from the community. Just in case you're not aware, alhamdulillah, we have restrooms for the sisters on my right, so your left. Those are dedicated for the sisters. The brothers, if you go through those doors, the restrooms are there. We have a few bottles of water here. Help yourself, inshallah ta'ala. MashaAllah, I'm glad to see this kind of a turnout on a weeknight. Good. I would recommend to bring some more chairs for the sisters as well. Brothers who are working hard on the behind. Atif bhai, some more for the sisters as well, mashallah. We have an influx of sisters. And I would request the same with the sisters. If you can come forward, fill up the rows, that will help us accommodate more as they come. Sisters who are in the back row, if you see a few seats, just come forward, please. That's good. Yeah. We set up 100 chairs and now we've set up another 100. So we have about 200 people. It's very good. And more people are coming. Yes. Good. All right. Are our guests here? I need your help. I swear the brother told me we were coming in. I'm not making up stories. Trust me. And we have no reason to hide the candidate. So the brother Ahmed said, I'm walking in with the sister, and I don't know what's going on. So if you can help us, inshallah ta'ala. Eddie, if I can ask you to please take a seat here. Is Brother Bilal here? Brother Bilal. Okay, I think they must be coming together. Very good. Special thanks to all our volunteers, mashallah, are working behind the scenes there to make more arrangements, and people who came last night prepared for the event as well. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you and put in your scale of great deeds. Say Ameen. MashaAllah. I'll be upstart. Okay? Good evening. Welcome. Thank you so much. Is Brother Bilal, Dr. Bilal, here also, or is he? In 5 minutes, that's fine. So, alhamdulillah, we have no reason to stop. We will start the event, inshallah ta'ala. If I can ask the brothers and sisters to be seated. And we start with the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So we're, as a Masjid al-Salam ISGS facility, we're honored to have Dr. Stein here and soon Dr. Butch, Bilal to be joining us, as well as Eddie Espinosa from the Green Party candidates. So welcome to our masjid. Thank you. In the interest of time, I'm going to keep it very simple and smooth. This is not about speeches for us and statements by us. It's about you, your questions, and them making a very clear, succinct statements of who they are, what they represent as a party, and what their beliefs and values are, how they match from what they have understood by touring different Muslim organizations and mosques around the nation, how those values match with our ambitions, concerns, and things of that nature. So with that, I will be quickly, the program for today, we will have to pause at 8:30 for the prayer, the Isha prayer time. So we will try to get as much presentation as well as Q&A done within that time. However, if you have more questions, we do have the permission to come back and have more Q&A sessions with our esteemed guests. If you have a burning question and we did not get to it, we will give you the opportunity to come back. With that, I want to say wholeheartedly thank you for making the time to come from different parts of the country and squeezing our masjid to be our guests. We will be having 3 guests, so I will do a quick introduction of the name and a little bit of intro for them, and then they will have the floor to speak. I understand Mr. Eddie Espinosa has been given 3 minutes to present, and that's mashallah. If you can do that, power to you. And then we will have Dr. Bilal, Dr. Butch Ware or Dr. Bilal will have 10 minutes. And of course, the presidential candidates, Dr. Jill Stein, will have 20 minutes. So I've been told that I have veto powers when you exceed the time, I can switch off the microphone, so I'm just kidding. So yes, it's important that we give our audience as well the opportunity to ask the questions and get to know a different agenda. So with that, I'm going to request Brother Eddie Espinosa, who is our commissioner for the railway, the Texas Railroad Commissioner. A lot of us, and I was always under the impression we're talking about railway, it is train. And why do you need a commissioner for? Later on, when I dug a little bit, and I learned that no, that commission regulates the whole Texas oil and gas industry. And of course, that's one of the bread and butter for this industry. So with that, I hand it over to you, Eddie. If this microphone is active, so go ahead and use that one. All active. I'm going to get them started. Can you help them by the setup? Eddie, everybody is timing you for 3 minutes. Moment. Okay. Do this one as well. Is it okay if he sets it up for you? Yeah. Okay.
Test 1, 2, test 1, 2. Okay. The people in the back, can y'all hear me? Okay.
You can stand up if you choose so. You can come here if you choose so you'll be more visible to them.
Okay.
It's up to you, whatever you're comfortable with. Okay.
Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here. And to the organizers of this event, I very much appreciate your labor, and the Green Party appreciates your labor. I'm Eddie Espinosa, and I am the Green Party candidate for Texas Railroad Commissioner. Now, as you just heard, the Railroad Commission has nothing to do with railroads and everything to do with overseeing and regulating the oil and gas industry in the state. Much of oil and gas drilling in Texas is done by fracking. Fracking produces huge amounts of wastewater that is disposed of by injecting it underground. This toxic wastewater, some of which is radioactive, has the potential to seep into our freshwater sources like has already happened in West Texas. Fracking must be banned to protect the water that our families and communities depend on. Effective climate action is also essential for life as we know it and for our children's future. Texas is at risk from global warming impacts like crop failures, wildfires, droughts, flooding, heat waves, and bigger and more powerful storms. The huge storm last week devastated the Southeast and wiped out entire towns. It was bigger and stronger than past storms because of global warming. Houston is no stranger to big storms. You've dealt with these problems. The only way to slow global warming is to speed up the transition off of fossil fuels and onto renewable energy like solar, wind, and utility scale batteries. Texas is already the leader in clean renewable energy, but the full transition off of fossil fuels that we need to protect our children's future is being blocked by greedy fossil fuel insiders who run our state, to include the 3 railroad commissioners on the commission. They just want to drill, drill, drill. We need independent regulators on the Railroad Commission that are guided by reason and climate science. That's where I come in. I am running with the Green Party because the Green Party doesn't take APAC money, unlike the Democrats and the Republicans, and we don't take any PAC money for that matter. We don't take money from corporations or lobbyists. That's why you can trust the Green Party. We work for you and your families, not big money donors. But that means we need your support. We need your donations, and more importantly, we need your vote. On the way out, please take 5 business cards or flyers and pledge to pass them out to friends and family as a conversation starter about Green Party politics of people, planet, and peace, instead of big money politics and legalized corruption.
That's right.
I ask for your vote for Dr. Jill Stein for president. She will end the genocide in Gaza on day 1. She will cut the military budget in half and bring $500 billion a year to invest in our communities. I also ask for your vote for me, your humble servant, Eddie Espinosa, for Texas Railroad Commissioner. Thank you.
Good job, thank you. Oh, you have a mic. Give me a minute. So thank you very much, Eddie, for very passionate appeal. I really appreciate that. I just would request our esteemed guests to be cognizant of the time. And very important disclaimer, we as an ISGH 501 organization, we're not in a position to recommend or endorse or encourage any of the candidates or any of the parties. We are an open organization. We embrace everybody to come here and do the presentation. If tomorrow Mr. Trump wishes to come or Ms. Harris wants to come, we will have the same open door policy. Just want you to be aware of that. Well, one day will come, God willing, that we will have that kind of influence that they will give us the value. So with that, just wanted you to be cognizant that this very important disclaimer. This is not a fundraising event. If you get inspired, you want to do something, that's on your own accord. So with that, I would like to welcome Dr. Bilal for coming. MashaAllah, he's a very inspirational speaker. I have seen some of your work on websites and all that. Dr. Bilal earned his PhD from the University of Pennsylvania in 2004 with a focus on African history and Islamic studies. As a reverted Muslim, he went back to earn PhD in Islamic studies. May Allah bless you. And global human rights, he currently serves as associate professor at the University of California, Santa Barbara, very pretty place, selected by the presidential candidate, Dr. Jill Stein, as the Green Party's vice presidential nominee for the 2024 election. So with that, we request you to come over and welcome to you.
Thank you. I'm not sure this mic is on, actually.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi. Very, very lukewarm salams. So it is a sunnah that if you are greeted with salams, you return the salam. So we're going to try this again. And for you young people out there, this is also the vibe check. So, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi. Vibe check passed, on to business. After greetings of peace and blessings and prayers upon Khairul Baraya Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, I greet you all. As we've just been noted, we're in a 501c3. I won't greet you even as a political party candidate. I'll greet you as your brother in Islam, as someone who has worked in the Muslim community for the last 20 years, bringing together activist and academic communities in Michigan, where I taught for 10 years, in California now for the past 6, Northwestern in the Chicago area before that. And for those of you who know a little bit about my academic work, my first book, it was called The Walking Quran, Islamic Education, Embodied Knowledge and History in West Africa. It's a history of Quran schooling. I'm not a politician, I'm a public servant, and most of my public service has been around teaching about Islamic ethics and values, and since we are in a 501c3 that happens to be a masjid, and since I've spent most of my life teaching about the Islamic tradition and the Quran, we're going to start with a Quran quiz, right? Suitable. As an Islamic studies professor, I'm well within my right. So I'm going to give you 2 ayahs, actually. And we'll make this just a whole khutbah since we're in a masjid. We need 2 ayahs and a hadith, do we not, to fulfill the formal requirements? And inshallah, I'll be giving the khutbah tomorrow in the 5th ward. Remind me the name of the masjid, Sidi. Masjid al-Rasul in Houston, Texas. So if you want to hear me give an actual khutbah, you can come out for that. So here's tonight's khutbah. First of these ayahs. And you guys can tell me where it comes from. Which surah is this one from? And is there any sound worse than the braying of a jackass? Huh? Surah Al-Luqman, correct. 31st chapter of the Quran. Is there any sound worse than the braying of a donkey? Is there any sound worse than the braying of an ass? Is there any sound worse than the braying of a jackass? Well, do y'all know a political party? Do y'all know a political party? Ashab al-Khimar, the companions of the jackass. And they are braying so loudly these days, making loud, incomprehensible noise, saying, we're working tirelessly for a ceasefire, while they send billions upon billions of dollars to bomb our brothers and sisters in their sleep, to murder and decimate in the literal sense. Roman generals used to put to death every 10th soldier after they lost a battle. That's the reason why a word that means a 10th means to destroy and eviscerate a population. And at least 1/10 of the population of Gaza has been murdered in the last 11 months. They are decimating a population and telling you, how about another one? They sow corruption in the earth, and when you approach them, they say, we are but peacemakers. True? God has spoken true. So they sow corruption, violence, murder, dissension, and then bray like jackasses, playing in your face, telling you that they're working hard. If you were working hard, you could stop this genocide with one phone call, and Dr. Jill Stein has promised to do exactly that and we'll walk up right to the line of the 501c3 if she happens to somehow get that opportunity. Say, perhaps through electoral processes. When I first joined the effort to end this genocide and restore democracy to the American people, one of the first meetings that I took was with Dalia Mogahed at the Institute for Social Policy and Understanding, brilliant Muslima who's been doing polling in the Muslim community for over a decade. And she told me on day one of joining this campaign that actually Team Blue, the party of the donkey, has already lost the election. And this is very important that you guys understand this. Some people are telling you that if you vote for people that wear green, you're throwing your vote away, when in point of fact, the Democrats have already lost the election and they know it. How do they know? Because they knew in January of 2024 that whereas Joe Biden had received 65% of the Muslim vote in the swing states of Michigan, Georgia, and Pennsylvania in 2020, that he was polling at 12%. Do I need to repeat that number? 12% in January 2024. Yaqeen Institute, based here in Texas, has now indicated that that gap has widened, and it is not just that the Democrats are dead on their feet and incapable of winning any of the swing states that they actually need to win, but that polling that Yaqeen has conducted says that 53% of the Muslim community is now ready to vote third party. Only 15% supporting Team Blue, 4% supporting Team Red. They are telling you that you are going to cost them the election and that you're going to get the orange antichrist elected. We seek refuge in Allah from the shaitan and the dajjal. That doesn't get an applause line here? But the reality is that they are preparing to scapegoat you, to blame you as the Muslim community for their failure to end a genocide. You have the capacity to refuse this utterly and instead consolidate your power. There is no sound worse than the braying of a jackass. I promised 2 ayahs. And if you've been paying attention, still 4 minutes if I've got my time measured. Then you can give me the next ayah. So if the first one was from Surah Al-Luqman, then what's going to be the next? Surah Al-Fil, aha. See, these guys are getting extra credit. They're thinking ahead of the professor. Good. And have you seen how your Lord dealt with the party of the elephant? It's almost as though God saw this day coming. And indeed, your Lord is never surprised. So how did our Lord deal with the party of the elephants in the birth year of our blessed messenger, alayhi afdal salatu wassalam? A swarm of birds. Birds appear to be light and insignificant, but when they move as a flock, unbeatable, capable of felling the mightiest beast. Our brother Eddie Espinosa said that the Green Party does not accept AIPAC money. In fact, the Green Party don't accept AIPAC's money. We don't accept any PAC's money. No PAC can contribute to the Green Party. We can't take elephant-sized contributions. People have to contribute from their abilities, but that means everybody has to kick in. It means that we need to move as a flock. And this is of utmost importance specifically for the Muslim community in this place and time. I converted to Islam at age 15, 35 years ago, and yes, I'm 50, and no, even light-skinned black don't crack. I'm still holding it together at 50. Thank you. Yes, a round of applause. Mark Lamont Hill said, beige don't age, and I was like, that's solid. I'm going to go with that. And a lot of our Desi brothers and sisters can use that one too. You know, the beige colored folks. We can say beige don't age. So here we are in this moment where we need to move together. We need to move collectively. Muslims have of Malcolm X cover to cover in one night when I was 15 years old. I read an English translation of the Quran that taking Shahada. And I grow communities, indigenous communities, in their community. Is that we have shown incredible capacity to build large, lavish suburban mosques and no capacity to build political power, And I ask you, of all of the fundraisers that we've held to build these big, beautiful suburban palaces, what has it gotten us if they will kill our brothers and sisters with impunity right in our faces? So that brings me to the hadith. I said I was going to give you a sermon, so two ayahs in hadith. I'm even going to throw in a last ayah. If I've got 1 minute left, which is exactly what I have, alhamdulillah. If you see an injustice, stop it with your hand. If you are incapable of stopping it with your hand, then speak against it with your tongue. if you cannot speak against it with your tongue, and by the way, this is not if it's uncomfortable or it might cost you friends at your job. If your life is at stake and you cannot speak against it with your tongue, then at least turn your heart against it, and that is the least that can be accepted of a person of belief. Well, stopping an injustice with your hand includes extending your hand with a donation. It includes pulling a voting lever. It includes signing your name on that signature card. Stop this genocide with your hand. Last verse before I get pulled off the stage, and my timer just went off, comes from Surah At-Tawbah. Okay. The Quran's 9th chapter is the only one that does not begin with a Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. And it's because the warnings that are coming in Surah At-Tawbah do not have God's names of mercy in front of them. The Quran being a perfect document, the Basmala, the Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, appears in another surah of Quran, so Quran has exactly 114 Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Nonetheless, listen, don't start me on trivia of the Quran. It's my jam. In Surah At-Tawbah, 75th to 77th verses, people from a previous generation, they called out to God and they said, God, give to us from your bounty, and if you do, then we will be generous. And then God gave to them, and they withheld. So God punished them by putting nifaq, hypocrisy, in their hearts. The lesson in this is that hypocrisy is not the sin. Hypocrisy is the punishment. What is the sin? The sin is withholding when you have it within your capacity to give. And the hypocrites of Medina were hypocrites because they were waiting to see how the affair would turn out. They had investments with a previous political party that they didn't want to give up, sunken costs, and they waited.
Dr. Jill, use this one. We know it
That
works.
one definitely works. Yeah.
Works. I want to give you the best one, right?
Thank you.
All right. This is the moment I think you all been waiting to hear from none other than Dr. Jill Stein, who is and she has entered into the domain of environment, the public health. She has been a big advocate. The domain of environment, the public health. She has been a big advocate from her profile to the cause of. With that, I welcome you, Dr. Jill, to the yoga. And you have 20 minutes, you know?
Careful with him. He's a
Yeah.
taskmaster. Careful with him. He's a
Yeah.
taskmaster.
Thank you all so much. Such an honor to be here. We are all so deeply indebted to this community, to the Muslim American community, for your courage, for your vision, for your moral insight. You really are the conscience of this nation and of this world, and we are so indebted to you for leading the way to a world that works for all of us. It really is, I think, Muslim American and dare not do impact moral now all. Your to build we have and out they have a to support values ignited, and we are abandoned by standing. Very some saying should state for their courage. Never. We are in is 8%. This is goal. Genocide